This Bonfireside Chat Appendix is brought to you by Nicholas Delian.
Thanks,
Appendix.
Nicholas.
Just his appendix brings it to us.
Who says it's vestigial?
Yeah, not when it comes to Nicholas Delian.
No.
And the reason his appendix got to work out by so whatever it does by donating to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Mm-hmm. Chances are he got a pretty cool reward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
you can too.
Yeah, and you can too. And that also supports all of our endeavors here in creating content for you.
So that's patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat Appendix, an undead second favorite.
And this week we are reading responses to Iron Keep and Belfry Soul. Bob was not able to join us, but we still thank him tremendously for contributing to the main body episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good buddy of ours.
Yeah. Check him out on Retronauts and at US Gamer.
Mm-hmm. And at Bob Servo on Twitter. Yeah. We've been recording for a while, so we're going to jump right in. Robin Gilmore says via Facebook, this is our follow-up section, our tiny beings errata. Robin Gilmore says about accents. Dudes, I just listened to the Earth, and I don't know why I thought he was going to say it like that. Dudes, you got to think about what you're going to do after high school. Dudes, I just listened to the Earth and Peak episode. Gilligan clearly has an Irish accent, not Scottish. He has 3 exclamation points there. I didn't quite say it with 3. I'm not an expert on these things, but his accent sounds more Southern Irish to me, more Dublin than Belfast.
Yes. I will admit to possibly being wrong on that.
I'll admit to I'm 100% sure I was wrong about that. I apologize. I'm just it is a detriment to my character that I have some American elitism where I don't know accents from around the world.
Yeah.
So it's not something I'm proud of. I'm not, just fuck it. Like I'll just dog over I want. Like it's just ignorance that I am not proud of. Yeah. But that's what it is.
It is a brogue, and sometimes we get our brogues mixed up.
And on the subject of that, it's probably worth noting, like, what the fuck is up with pressing 1 for English? And it's, I'm kidding. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Guys, me nuts. That's a problem, huh? That's what you're going to focus on? Moms of Facebook?
Moms of Facebook.
Stepdads of Facebook? That's your issue right now? That's the burning issue?
That's the hill you're going to die on, huh?
Assholes.
A shitty hill.
Yeah.
So John Manshaft says via the comment, did you know you can comment on our episodes? Just go to duckfeed.tv/BSC/ whatever the episode number is, and there is a post there. Sometimes we pull responses from that.
And also, if you say something directly, and I don't always see those, so I always feel bad. Like there are like ways I'm like, oh, I would engage this, but it's like 6 months old when I kind of go back and look through it. So if it's something that demands attention or it's a question, the contact or the Facebook page is probably a more lively spot.
Yeah.
If we miss your comment or don't respond to it, it's not because we don't care.
Right. But John Manshaft writes in saying, when you were talking about how some enemies first appear in Harvest Valley / Earth and Peak and then later appear elsewhere, and how it seems more gamey because there doesn't seem to be a lore-based reason for them to be in one of the 2 locations, I had an idea. In an earlier episode, you mentioned that one player had suggested that the reason that the transitions between the areas in Dark Souls 2 are so short is because the game is trying to approximate the player character's demented state of mind, e.g., losing sense of time and place. As well, you've often spoken about how timey-wimey and spacey-wacy the world of Dark Souls 2 is. You've also pointed out how NPCs seem to consistently lose their memories and or have memory issues, e.g., disordering their chronology. So I think the misplacement of enemies might be a symptom of this motif. In other words, the enemies that show up in Earth and Peak and Harvest Valley that show up elsewhere in the game might be showing up elsewhere precisely because it doesn't make sense for them to be there, thus adding to the disorderly nature of the land.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like the idea that your character is just like seeing things that he already saw and kind of, miss, his version of reality.
Yeah.
He's saying he's all sucker punching this shit.
Yeah. What's that director's name? Zack something?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Let's make this all look like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I like the idea of an unreliable protagonist. That kind of feels like the last resort a little bit. Like we defer to spacey, wacy, and timey-wimey a lot when there is no better explanation. But honestly, there is no better explanation for the Grave Wardens being there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to throw that idea out there in either case.
Yeah. So good job connecting the dots. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So here's our gate for this episode. We had elevator gate in the main episode, and our gate for the episode previous was estrangement gate. Because a couple of people wrote in to clarify that Lenegrast and Cloanne actually are aware of each other when they go back to Majula. Really what we were kind of trying to get at is it's weird that they never just walk over and say hi or just outright acknowledge. It does seem to have a very muted impact.
Yeah.
But we didn't mean to say, and if we did say, I apologize for that. Straight up say they never actually, their dialogue doesn't change. It's more just it doesn't seem like it has very much effect.
Right. Like you would expect Cloanne to say, "Oh my gosh, my dad, he's so overbearing, blah blah blah," to make a comment on the dynamic of their relationship. Right. And as we mentioned in the episode, I think it could be just a relationship or a part of their heads getting all woolly. Which again might be more powerful because that is fucking tragic. Dementia is a thing to be afraid of in this world. And,
absolutely, and in any world. It very well could be like an Alzheimer's kind of thing. Having a
which is exactly what I was trying to say.
When you said this world,
yeah. In ours, Gary, there's a difference.
Yes, not to a true gamer.
God. Gary, do you know what you're doing to me?
Yeah.
What you're doing to this show?
Yep. True gamers only.
MLG. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody who wrote in about that and helped clarify.
Yeah. Really appreciate it.
So our buddy Illusory Wall, the person who is doing God's work of taking data dumps from these various games.
Yeah.
What?
That pause made it sound like a verb.
Taking data dumps.
Yeah, it made it sound like he was just shitting out ones and zeros. Not to be crass.
Not
to be crass, but it just made it sound like ones and zeros were coming out of his butthole.
Definitely
into a
to
toilet.
be crass.
Yeah.
No, onto his excellent blog where he details a bunch of this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So he wrote in via comment form because we were grousing about the wikis before. I was also surprised at how much dialogue was still missing from the wiki. I'm in the process of going back and making sure all of their dialogues are complete. By coincidence, I recently added Gilligan's dialogue. Unfortunately, I did it about a week too late for it to be of use to your episode. Regarding links to YouTube videos on Wikidot, they're only meant to be temporary. I asked one of their admins about this a while back, and when I was doing cleanup. The idea is that YouTube links can be acceptable until the pages have enough information so that the link can be considered unnecessary or redundant. The intention is to have most links removed in the end. Any page that's already completed and has a YouTube link added afterwards is something that's supposed to be removed. So for those of you who don't remember, I specifically was grousing about how all the wikis seem to be eschewing written lists, which you could actually scan in a quick fashion, and in favor of links to people's YouTube videos about their walkthrough, trying to juice their ad revenue. Which it's cool that at least on the Wiki.wiki, which is the one I vastly prefer, that is on the way out. So thank you for shedding some light on that. Yeah,
and just to keep the hype train moving. It'd be a fine time to announce it. So after Drenglik, we talked about doing special episodes. We're going to have Illusory Wall on the show.
Yeah.
At some point, and do an episode or maybe just an appendix episode. They probably won't have a appendix to it, but a 1 week where we talk about data mining the game, because he's just doing amazing work.
Yeah.
And there's something about this game that, Hellkite Drake does a lot on YouTube as well. Just finding all of the hidden and weird stuff that is in here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm very excited to talk to him.
A great deal of the holy shit, I never knew that about that game has come from Illusory Wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is the patron saint of hidden content. Yeah. We're looking forward to having him on the show. We don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
But
We're still solidifying that, but we're going to start trickling out those special episodes to kindle the bonfire.
Indeed. Tell Bloodborne. So responses about this area. Paul Mum says via Facebook, you guys have already made a few mentions of Dark Souls 2's relative spacey wastiness, and the Iron Keep is probably the most egregious example. Unlike the transition from Majula to Hade, in which you see one location from the other, albeit as a skybox and not real Dark Souls 1 style geometry, the transition between Earthen Peak to Iron Keep makes nega sense. An elevator takes you from the top of a blighted windmill up to the bottom of a seething caldera. While I agree that a lot of the spatial shenanigans in the game are intentional, this one feels like the developers were forced to relocate an area as a concession to gameplay or development time. I don't usually go for trying to guess the developers' original intentions, but I think there is pretty clear evidence that the Iron Keep was originally meant to be accessed beneath the fort in the Fallen Giants. Firstly, several sources tell us that the Iron Keep sank into the earth due to the old Iron King's avarice, a pretty clear signal that we should be entering it from above, not below. Secondly, the ironclad Turtle Knights are only found in two locations, the fort and the Iron Keep. While the Grave Wardens taught me not to invest too much significance in enemy placement, their descriptions on their armor set support this theory. The Iron Keep ironclads are said to be minions forged by the old Iron King, and the fort's ironclads are said to have mysteriously emerged from Castle Drengleic to reinforce Vendrick's men at the fort. Vendrick having access to Turtle Bros makes a lot more sense if one of his forts sits on top of a Turtle Bro factory. Thirdly, is the key to the foyer of the Iron Keep that inexplicably opens the fort's fiery sublevels. The flaming pit below the fort would be suspicious enough even without this connection. It's a dead end offering little reward for overcoming some of the game's toughest monsters. It seems more than likely to me that this key was originally meant to be found elsewhere, and the Salamander party beneath the fort were originally the entryway to the Iron Keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that. I buy that, and I've read it a couple other places as well. But I think that is the case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but regardless, that is a very well-written case, and I am totally convinced.
Yeah. And if you are hesitant to guess what the developers' original intentions were, that's what we're for. Because we'll stick our foot in our mouth and say shit like that.
Yeah. We'll take the heat. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very well put.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan McCollum via Facebook says, I love the approach to the Iron Keep, but once you get through the doors, it's kind of a bummer. What I'd hoped would be a speed metal tribute to Anor Londo turned into mostly a collection of massive, empty rooms and narrow hallways. Sure, a lot of Anor Londo is also that, but its massive rooms and hallways are beautifully decorated, whereas a lot of the Iron Keep, sans the Smelter Demon Room and the lovely abode of Magarold, feels kind of bland. I know From can design cool castles, so it makes me sad that I despise having to go through the Iron Keep, a place that should be Skeleton Lords levels of badass. Get these annoying ninja fellows out of my way and show me King Balrog's kickin' rad throne, dang it.
Yeah. I still think that the only, like, the castle, like Drengleic, and then also parts of the castle in Bolteria, like those are actually castles, and the only thing that I can justify that is that we're in places that are not meant to be floor space. Yeah. Like all of that stuff exists, it's just subsumed by lava, especially if the lava is as deep as it seems when you're fighting Old Iron King.
Yeah. I could see this being like a very Spartan society. Like if it is as militaristic as as it is, if their idea of decoration is lining the walls with iron, maybe they wouldn't have the tapestries and such, that the City of the Sun would have. Right. So that is my only justification for the way this place looks, even if we are inhabitable areas. Yeah,
it's probably a combination of maybe both of those things.
Yeah.
So somewhere that. Perhaps the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
It would have been awesome to see the throne room, though.
Yeah, it would have. Man, yeah, throne rooms are a real. Like they set them up as a real disappointment in this game.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Like the throne room is cool. Yeah. Cool stuff happens there.
Yeah. On the second go around.
yeah. It just doesn't happen yet, but that's an amazing fight. Mm-hmm. John says via contact, I have two minds about the Iron Keep. I enjoyed the layout of the area and the obviously planned fights. However, as a mostly melee guy, I didn't care for these bosses. I understand Smelter has great defense, but if I want to end the fight before the heat death of the universe as a boxer, I have to summon. Also, this was the site of one of my greatest gaming shames. Somehow, on my third playthrough, I forgot how to jump. I proceeded to clumsily roll into the lava an ungodly number of times, more than 20. Eventually, I got the timing down again, but for a while, I was so ashamed.
That's a real problem in games where they give you an ability, but they don't make you use it for a long stretch of time. And when they expect you to use it, you forget it. The same thing happened to me in, Arkham City, with the with a line launcher.
Yeah.
There's a place in the sewers where it's required, and I spent probably about maybe a half hour trying to unsuccessfully navigate that area. That is apropos of nothing, however. I don't blame you, and I don't think you should be ashamed of forgetting to jump.
You, if you want to really throw yourself for a loop, play some Dark Souls 1. Mm-hmm. Like I played like a half hour Dark Souls 1 just for teenage kicks, and not pressing L3 to jump throws me off so fucking much. Like I didn't make one jump that I needed to make. So
yeah. Steve writes in via the contact form. My first playthrough of Dark Souls 2 was as a Dex build, since that was my favorite build from Dark Souls 1. It wasn't until I got to the Iron Keep that I realized what a terrible mistake I'd made. The lack of decent Dex weapons and having to pump a ton of points into adaptability had left me with a fairly useless character. Then I met my good friend the Smelter Demon. Oh boy, the fun we'd have together. By about the 30th time I attempted to fight him, I was seriously considering a respec, but since I'm far too stubborn for that shit, I soldiered on. By the time I finally beat him, I was an unstoppable demon-killing machine. I could really feel the sense of having trained for so long that I knew my enemy better than he knew himself. It's one of the most satisfying victories I've ever had, and a reminder that Dark Souls is all about the 3 Ps: practice, patience, and praising that mother-flippin' sun. I love all of our commenters pulling their punches on their swears. We had a dang it, we have mother flipping.
Yeah.
It's quaint. Do more of that, please.
It is very quaint. Lake Woebegone. Yeah, old Ash Lake Woebegone. Yeah.
Okay, that is a postcard or a t-shirt.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I still think May I P Senpai needs.
No. I have it on a card right here because I have my T-shirt card pile. Senpai restrict my P is the Senpai restrict my P. So I've got a sketch of that.
Yeah. Now that one that's in the extra sode, I think, that hasn't come out yet for Watch Out for Fireballs, but that is very funny to me.
It has come out.
Oh, it has. It's in the main episode?
No. I mean,
by the time this has. Yeah, but not by the. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't talk about it very much when we talked about the Smelter Demon, but other than the fact that he does consistent fire damage, I don't think he's, strictly speaking, unfair. Mm-hmm. He's just hard.
Yeah. It's a dual boss, except he has a couple of wrinkles to him. I think the biggest problem that I have is he doesn't telegraph enough. Even though he does telegraph a fair bit, he will switch from different effective damage ranges in a way that kind of throws me off, and he doesn't really establish a pattern as far as I can tell. So what usually ends up burning me is trying to adapt to maybe reacting to his area of effect, and then him just slamming the sword down on me. Yeah.
It's also a real roll mastery test. You don't want to be blocking him pretty much ever.
Yeah.
Because for the first quarter of the fight, you can block him, but after that, you're going to take a lot of damage when you do.
Yeah.
So, Gordon says via contact, hell yeah, I'll talk about the Magna Mansion. There are a lot of little bits in that area that I like. Anywhere with this much magma is gorgeous as a rule, and the entire idea of a heavy-ass castle sinking into the very earth is fantastic. Opening up the furnace door and getting blasted was brilliantly thematically appropriate. Dunking people into the lava never got old, and luring turtle knights into flame traps and just tanking while they got toasted is a great way to use the traps to my advantage. It's a shame the level ends just as it starts to get into its stride, because I would have loved to have another set of rooms of explorable traps and lava vistas. Speaking of which, the view from the window at that start, I can see why the NPC hangs out there. The weakness of this area has been gone over at length, thanks to the Dark Souls 2 community bringing up the jump from the Earthen Peak as the number one reason why it's worse than that one video game Hitler made. The place doesn't gel together as a real castle, and not in any way that can be excused or explained by the meta theme of forgetting and amnesia. He read the comments from before. Also, the old Iron King was like an anemic version of the Ceaseless Discharge, and his flame breath graphics look like absolute ass. That tiny hole in his area was the deadliest thing about the boss fight, but enough about that. Overall, a B+ area due to some very strong ideas, but with slightly sloppy execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know, did the flames look like ass? I've never noticed that.
They look like particle effects in a video game. I don't know that any game has really done fire all that great.
Yeah.
It
doesn't look like fire very often.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like, transparent sprites that are overlaid to give the illusion of depth. Yeah. It reads as fire from a gameplay perspective. But, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I like that. The worse than that one video game that Hitler made. We could
Yeah.
if we hadn't been recording for so long, we could probably get a lot of comedy out of that. So let's just put a sign up there and just imagine we riffed for about 7 minutes about
7 minutes. Minecraft. Minecraft.
I was going to say
ding, 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 ding.
Minecopter. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Minecraft.
Sorry, I can picture that as a poster too.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, we're an IP factory here.
We here at Duckfeed, we're about ideas, we're about branding, messaging.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's that'll make sense. It is true. Like, it does just kind of abruptly end after you get to that trap room. I was hoping that would lead to more.
Yeah. I mean, it still seems like a fairly sizable area.
It does,
but it's kind of not. Like, it seems like it, but it's dense.
Yeah.
Like, it just took me a long. Like, the area is very challenging, but it doesn't take up that much real estate.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was hoping for an area, outside of Amana, which really is just a bunch of drops, for an area where the geometry, where the kind of like architecture was more malevolent for the character.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of that here, especially with the narrow walkways. But just longing for Sens.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sens is for lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ian writes in via the contact. Magma Mansion, probably the most video gamey of all Dark Souls 2 levels. Comparisons to a Mario game are not entirely unjustified, but very enjoyable for all of its generic lava levelness. I'm ashamed to admit that the Old Iron King / Icarus Earth gave me as much trouble as anything else in the game. Not because he's particularly difficult, because he's not, but because my brain and fingers kept rolling too soon whenever he attacked, and I'd die repeatedly in the worst possible way, knowing exactly what I'd done wrong. I was just rolling too soon. I'd go into the fight saying, roll later, and then watch in horror as I would press the dodge button at exactly the same point as I had the previous 12 times, with predictably the same results. This was something about the attacks that made me feel on some level that I knew the perfect point to roll, but I was wrong. And I'd got locked into my wrongness so hard that I couldn't get out. Damn you, incorrect muscle memory. That's frustrating. That's like that really, because he telegraphs so much. Like, I ran into that a little bit at the beginning of that fight, or of my run through it.
Yeah, part he just attacks slowly. Mm-hmm. So you maybe think it's going to come a little bit quicker than it does.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting that he doesn't have anything that preys on that.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like a lot of bosses that move really slowly will have one or two like really quick, unpredictable attacks, but he really doesn't do anything quickly. Like, he tired.
He tired.
So,
he weak.
He weak. He tired. He's sleepy.
Gump ass motherfucker.
Lucas says by contact. All right, this is my craziest theory in all of Dark Souls 2. What if Magrold is of Lanifer is actually Aldia? Oh, this is that thing I read. I've read this somewhere. The only real connection between the two is the interest in dragons. Magrold is suspiciously excited over the petrified dragon egg. I think it might be possible that Aldia is for some reason in hiding and cannot retrieve it himself. And I find it odd that nothing else in the game references the land of Lanifer, when it seems like most of the other places get multiple mentions. Mostly just baseless speculation, but I find the idea interesting.
Yeah,
it's very similar. The other person thought it was like Aldia's soul that had transferred into like a man who walked around with amnesia and became Magrold. But this is the idea of him like purposely in hiding is interesting. It seems more plausible to me.
Yeah,
because it doesn't have soul switching,
and it motivates it motivates his desire for the egg, right? But he doesn't explicitly he does mention like a place far off to the east, right? Like it's signposted a little bit that there is something you're going to see a little bit later, and it maybe motivates you to bring the egg back to him once you find it. Yeah, maybe. If that was there, they didn't put in enough dots. It's a cool idea. Yeah, but they would need something like if they had just suggested somewhere else that Aldia was in hiding. Yeah, that would have been enough to make me think more or less buy it. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be interested to get to that episode and talk about that lore.
Yeah, Aldia.
Yeah,
the keep and the like. Me too.
Yeah. So Christian Bates Hardy writes in via Facebook. Dark Souls 2 is a game with a lot of great voice acting. Between the eternally cranky Sorcerer Strayed, Mr. Wheelandeel, a.k.a. Gavlin, the main man, and the surprisingly conversational severed head of Vengarl, the game offers a lot of quality voice acting that one can choose a favorite from. My favorite, however, is whoever did the voice of the dwarf that lets you into the Bellkeeper Covenant. There's just something about his enthusiastic raving of, the princess, she made me, yes.
That is nothing like...
I know.
Like, that is some kind of dwarf voice for that.
I'm doing a munchkin.
Yeah, I guess that is a munchkin. I knew I recognized it from something, but it's not.
Home again, jiggity jig. Yeah. So something about that deeply unsettles me. And also makes me want to mimic his way of speaking, as I failed to do. Unrelated to the awesome voice acting, I don't know how sold you guys are on the theory that the Princess of Belfry Luna is also the Baneful Queen, but the presence of Puppetmancy as a magical force at work in both the Bellkeeper Covenant and the Earthen Peak would seem to suggest, to me anyway, that this is the case, as does the location of the Belfry Soul and Iron Keep, or connected to it. We don't really know where Aiken and Ven are, do we? This is going way into speculation land here, but perhaps it's possible that the Lost Bastille is located in the land of Ven, where the Belfry Luna is, and the land of Alkin, I'm saying Clay Aiken, aren't I? The land of Alkin is where the Iron Keep was located before it flooded with liquid hot magma. Speculation City. Yeah. I don't know how convinced I am of the Puppetmancy being the definite link between the two of them. Just because that as we've mentioned, that is a theme that crops up. So it's, it could be correlation as opposed to causation. But that said, I buy that theory as much as any, because it makes more sense than Mytha and Angie or whatever, the Iron King being together, just because the Iron King never, there was no like romance to that story, as opposed to anything related to the Bellkeepers and the bells themselves, which everything is saying like, oh, this has to do with love, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't think that she was married to the old Iron King. It's an interesting idea, and the fact that like these are kingdoms upon kingdoms. Is something that we didn't really talk about, because I was talking about how people always want to connect these two areas, and they're geographically next to each other, but they could also be thousands and thousands of years apart. So the Princess's Belfry could have been built, when that land was something entirely different. Yeah, because there's no like poison theming or anything in the old Iron Keep. Like it's probably not like that. That is the terminus, of that area, really. Yeah. And maybe the Belfry Soul was just past that, but they kind of stuck the old Iron Keep in there. So they're connected, but they don't necessarily need to be. And if they are connected geographically, time can kind of explain away some of the differences.
I mean, I would almost say like, if we're going to attribute the actions in the Huntsman's Copse to the Iron King in his reaction to the curse, they would almost have to be, because
I guess that's true.
It would make no sense for the for the Earthen Peak to be 1,000 miles apart when you have to.
Yeah, that's true. It's so weird though that there's not much in the Earthen Peak that references it. Yeah, like the Earthen Peak doesn't really even reflect it as much,
like forced labor, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But
the Copse was never
like
meant to be put to use. It was like meant to torture them. Like it was very specifically. Those are two different like use of the undead. It is weird. Like, yeah, that is strange. So maybe the outlier is actually Earthen Peak. Yeah. Like it was supposed to be Huntsman's Copse going to Iron Keep. But Earthen Peak is actually the thing that's kind of sandwiched in uncomfortably. Stuff to think about. I do not know. Yeah. Exactly, but worth speculating. Yeah. Tyler Culp says via Facebook, "Ouch, that's hot. For real though, Iron Keep is the culmination of Dark Souls 2's incongruous treasure design in comparison to the Souls series as a whole. Many of the items are placed for you to die or very nearly die. Demon Souls and Dark Souls were very fair about punishment, and the items, like everything else in the game, reflected that. They were a reward for studying the environment or experimenting with different routes while fighting off tough enemies and other dangers. Iron Keep taunts you with items, then makes retrieving them a trial. Iron Keep is either where Dark Souls 2 especially fails as the core point of a series, or where it makes a new stance on it clear. Either way, I was not a fan." I don't know if that I don't necessarily think that it's exactly fair. Like, you can get those things. You just have to pump up your fire resistance and find the water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you talk about careful study of your environment, like, I think that's what they're trying to do with the water pots that are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, everywhere.
Yeah. I could see there being some disappointment about waiting for the orange charred ring that never came.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never gotten those items. Like, it's just never been worth it to me, and I've died several times trying to get them.
I looked up what they were to see whether it was worth continuing to do it, but, like, I could get them if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible. And that, like, you know, the water thing, like, that feels like it's, I mean, is it worse item design to have, like, having a hazard between you and the item and having something that can combat that hazard in the room, or just having a ring that you can get that lets you bypass the hazard?
Yeah.
You know, like, I know he's not specifically just comparing lava to each other. He might not be specifically saying, like, I wish there was an orange shard ring and saying that was better. But it's like, I don't necessarily think that feels like, I think that they're hard to get and harder to get than a lot of items, but it doesn't feel particularly unfair to me.
Yeah.
At least not like, you know, and it also doesn't feel like it's failing at the core point of the series. Like, we talked a little bit about the criticism of it being so hyperbolous. Like, item placement isn't the core point of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
You know, like the item placement can reflect one of the many, like, kind of core values of the series, but I would not say that is like the point of the series.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Even if we don't agree with you 100%, your icon on Facebook is adorable. It's a cute little dinosaur, and I smile every time I see it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it regardless. Like, I don't mean that. I'm not trying to say, like,
oh no, I wasn't even
No.
being, like, diminutive. I mean, and you know, for as much as my rant in the previous, like, in the main body of the episode, you know, may have made it sound like, I don't think anybody who disagrees with us about whether or not Iron Keep, you know, is a failing of the series is a child. That is that is not the case. You know, I just think that it is controversial and it's worth talking about regardless. And you present it in a very fair way here. So
yeah, it is. It's like, as we said, it's fine to just dislike a thing.
Yeah,
that's not what anything we're taking issue with.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So let's round everything out with a PvP story from Zane via the contact forum. Iron Keep holds many memories for me, most of them on that first bridge over the troubled lava. I had pumped up a character to an extreme level in hopes of clearing New Game Plus without dying. Wow. I quickly learned, however, that sin stays with you. After narrowly escaping several consecutive Arbiter Spirits in Hade's Tower, I decided to continue my attempt offline. The one time I forgot to start in offline mode was in Iron Keep. I managed to get a couple of nights before I was invaded by an Arbiter. I had been doing so well and I started to panic. Ignoring the rules of honorable combat, I ran away and healed at every opportunity. I realized that I couldn't beat this guy without help, but there were no white summon signs to be found. But there were plenty of red ones. I decided to test my luck. I don't know what ran through my red friend's head when he saw a blue spirit already in combat, but my gambit had paid off. Even the promise of an easy bounty of souls is no match for a red's natural hatred of blue. Sorry, I ran out of breath. Their natural hatred for blue. I stepped back and watched them whittle each other down, and when my champion had struck the final blow, I congratulated him with a brand new knife right in the back.
That's great.
I quickly logged out and went back into offline mode, patting myself on the back for my well-earned victory. Unfortunately, in an effort to skip the Smelter Demon, I simultaneously fell prey to the weaknesses of this game's platforming and to a pool of lava. So it goes.
Yep. That's a good story.
Yes, it is. Oh, picking up the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, if you wrote in for this episode and your response was not included, it was, I assure you, solely for time purposes. I am holding on to all of these. I'm keeping a record of everybody. And, Gary, we're pretty much decided that we're going to do like an all feedback roundup, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do, especially depending on how much, bonfire kindling we need to do. Yeah. It's very, very possible that we'll do just a very long episode with everything we missed. Because they serve as kind of mini discussion prompts and stuff. We want to give you guys your due, and also it makes for good conversation fodder. Yeah.
So if you have any thoughts on Drang Lake Castle, there is still time to submit those. That is at duckfeed.tv/contact or our Facebook page.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is facebook.com/bonfireside chat. Fun place to be.
Yeah.
You should check it out. You should also check out our other shows in the network. Check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. And check out ratings and reviews on iTunes.
Yeah.
And check out these deleted scenes. Did you see the gaming journalism protest? For, like, the
Yeah, I
Fortnite
did.
guys?
Oh, great.
Fucking-
That's so good.
Yeah. So look forward to that. If somebody throws like sheep's blood on you, be sure to let me know.
That could be a feature in of itself, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just,
The shithead on the street interview.
like
Yeah,
embed
infiltrate them.
yourself.
Yeah. So guys,
Hey guys, I hate women too. What's going on?
what's up with that Sarnikian lady, huh?
Sorry.
Anywho.
What's she really up to?
Yeah. What
You guys,
do you think she's trying to do?
I hear she's not really a gamer.
Like, what could she possibly do? Yeah.
God, this is...
Yeah. This is the worst.
Man, I don't know. It's been pure...
Yeah, it's been-
Okay, so I can't say it's been a while, and I can't say it's been...
Nope.
because
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
sue
do.
me.
It's been a while around my girlfriend, and she has not listened to the Company Bang Bang in a while, so she has no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's
The thing
impossible
is, she
not
also
to.
doesn't question it, so she could be thinking I'm having small seizures or something, and not like interested in my health.
Wait a minute. I'm not a bang banger. Is that a common bang bang thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Saying it's
I'm
been
sorry.
a while?
I'm sorry if
Yeah.
you were under the impression it was a Gary original.
I mean,
But-
I thought it was a Stained original.
Yeah. It is neither.
But the thing is, I only do it around her because I know she will not question it. If I did it in public, I know that I would get like people would like prompt me like, "Why did you say that? Why did you do that?"
They do. Like I say it as a reflex, like all the time, and they, and I love, if you do it more than once, you just get, "God damn it!" And then, but my boss at work, literally was just like, "What? Why were you thinking about that song?" And I was like, I don't know.
I'm passionate about Chinese chickens. Okay.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend does not know the "It's Been a While" song, so I can get away with it. She's just like,
What a
"Oh, that's a
blessed
funny voice to do."
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't find out about the song.
Yeah.
This
Or
is your
say,
charge.
yeah, like have her come in someday and be like, "Baby, I wrote you a song," and then play that on an acoustic guitar.
It's. Did you know that it's
Is that when I want her to leave? I guess. Like, okay,
We'll just see how long
I've
she can
created this
pretend to be
monstrosity.
polite.
it's
Like
the
just like,
record.
that's real good, baby.
Wait a second. How can it have been a while since you stood on your own 2 feet again? Like you have 7 tenses. I think that's like the past blue perfect.
God, diagram that sentence. It's a nightmare.
Good.
It's going well.
Doing fine.
Just well.
Yes.
Medium well.
Yes.
Man.
It's kind of rare and bloody today for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, I've been enjoying one of the few days of summer that happened in the Bay Area, so that's been nice.
You guys had a summer.
Well, we have like maybe 5 days of summer spread out throughout 3 months. So,
So, whereas we get,
and then
we get the 5 Daves of summer. Dave Foley.
the 5 Daves.
Yeah.
They all visit.
Yeah.
They have shorts on. They're ready to party.
Yep. Dave Foley, Dave Thompson, David
Thompson.
Spade, David Cross. Yeah, from Wendy's.
Dave Thomas of Wendy's fame.
Yep.
Oh, it's both Dave Thomases. It's Dave Thomas, the Canadian
For-
comedian.
Oh, the comedian
Yeah.
and the fast
From
food
Grace Under
mogul.
Fire and Wendy's dad.
Wendy's.
It's the new League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The Daves I know. Yeah.
Oh man, sorry that snuck up on me.
Yes, I've been enjoying the days and the Daves of summer at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say we haven't had a summer because we really haven't for Cincinnati, but like it was like 90 degrees and thunderstorming out today. So
Oh, that's summer.
I know, but it's not been as intense, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I've come to expect hell, and
Those idiots who believe in global warming.
I know.
Where are they
right?
for this summer?
Yeah.
It's not hot outside.
A bunch of overreactors, in my opinion.
Yeah, your opinion, and you backed it up because you read Business Week or what have you. That was.
The people at Forbes understand my feeling about the situation.
So get this. I'm screaming that on a corner, and somebody walks up to me and tries to have a calm and measured conversation about the difference between weather and climate.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It was cold today, so therefore global warming never existed ever.
What an asshole that guy is.
Yeah.
I hope you socked him.
I've seen a snowman in like the past 3 years, so therefore there is no global warming.
Yep.
Okay, when did we turn into political cartoons?
It's like a really slow version of The Ring. Like, if you see a snowman, then. Yeah.
I'm going to write the word debt on myself and then dump a bucket of ice water on my head. And it will mean something to someone, I hope.
Well, I know what it's going to mean. It's going to mean likes and follows.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about how funny it would be in like 3 years to just bring that back and not bring up ALS at all. Like, just be like, hey, this is a cool, fun thing you can do. I challenge you to do it. And then you do this thing. And then just see how many people just mimic it and how viral it gets without any kind of deeper meaning at all. Because it would.
I don't think it's big enough of a sacrifice, though, the ice water. I want it to be like slime or something, you know? It doesn't feel... It feels like also like a roundabout way to have a wet t-shirt contest without anyone really knowing.
It's a bit uncomfortable, isn't it?
Because I've seen videos with women in that I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Like,
yep.
This feels salacious in some way. I know it's not intended to feel that way, but you are dumping cold water over your t-shirt. So, what do you want me to think?
just say it. Say it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just like putting fads in the incubator. So, like, tomorrow, I'm just going to walk to the grocery store shirtless, but with soy bomb sprayed across my chest.
Yeah. And then plank it up.
We really need to bring back soy bomb.
I don't need to bring back soy bomb because he never left.
Yeah.
I miss that guy.
He can join the. I wonder if his name is Dave, and he can join the League of Extraordinary Summer Daves.
The 5 days of summer.
Yeah. Mr. Soy Bomb was my father's name.
Corn Sarnet.
Yeah.
Probably Dave Bomb.
Yeah, Dave Bomb.
Yeah, his name is Michael Portnoy. Is his name?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Noted performance artist.
Oh, well, good job.
Yeah.
And
that's one way to do it.
Yeah. Well, we're all talking about him. Had to at least be somewhat successful.
It shows it's working.
We might be the only people in 2014 talking soy bomb, but
yeah.
This very special episode of Talking Soy Bomb with Gary, Cole, and Bob.
Well, hey, I saw him the other day.
I think we might need to institute a hashtag of some sort, like Remember the 90s or Classic MTV or something like that.
I saw him laying across a bus bench, and he had "See You Looked," spray painted across his chest. He's a bus bench ad now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Things are looking up. Everything's coming up soy bomb.
Everything is coming up soy bomb.
I assumed after I saw him on my TV, he no longer existed. He just like faded away
he
after he walked
was a
off that
special
stage.
effect. He was a prototype Tupac hologram.
Yeah. Based on the original Soy Bomb, the folk singer from the 40s.
Yeah. Or that Sega game from the early 90s.
Yes.
With a time-traveling soy bomb who goes back and fights cavemen.
Or the Spanish concept of being a bomb.
Where's that from?
No, I am bomb.
Oh, like La Bamba?
I am bomb.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, that I probably should have just not said that.
Killed that one dead, Cole.
So do I have to buy the next round of drinks?
Yeah.
Kole Ross, bit killer.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon